So they've got to win and keep winning.
Can you believe, Jason, that both these teams only have 5 games left in this WNBL season? And you're right, Sydney will be desperate for a win in their push to get into that top 4. And Adelaide, well, whilst they're not playing for any playoff spot, they would certainly want to try and take some big scalps along the way and end their season on a positive note.
Important game this afternoon between Southside and Bendigo. Bendigo on the outside trying to make up ground. Southside trying to hold their position in the race for the top 2. And geez, didn't they do it in style, Laurie? They rocketed out of the blocks. First 16 points, I think, of the game. They had 30 points in the opening term, led by 19 at quarter time, and were never really headed.
Well, I was watching that game, and that first quarter, Southside played absolutely smothering defense. And then down at the other end, they looked so comfortable in their offense. They had a wide spread of scorers, and they looked really good as a team, the Flyers.
They shot 52% from outside the three-point arc. Just an incredible afternoon for them, a massive win, and it certainly keeps them right in the hunt as we take a look at the updated ladder. With each team to play 21 games. Remembering, everyone's played a different number of games at this point of the year, so let's focus on the losses column. That's the best indication of where teams are at. The Boomers' big win over Townsville on Saturday saw them cut the deficit at the top to 2 games, and that win for the Flyers today, well, it keeps them in the hunt. It's actually moved them to 9-6 now, so they're level with Melbourne on 6 losses, and those 2 teams meet this Sunday in a massive game in the race for second. Meanwhile, Sydney, well, they host the bottom 2 teams in the next 3 nights, and those 2 games just so important. They've got to bank those wins. The Lynx and the Spirit will play Saturday, so one of them's going to win and improve their position. So if Sydney stumble this week, their finals hopes could be all but gone. It's a massive 3 nights in Sydney's season coming up. As we welcome in the 3rd member of our WNBL Wednesday team, Megan Huswaite is courtside. Megs, a massive day in the WNBL and in women's basketball in Australia with the Opal squad for next month's Olympic qualifiers in Brazil being named.
Good evening, Jace. Good evening, Laurie. A massive day, and we'll start with an injury scare that certainly sent a little shockwave around the basketball community this evening, and that is Lauren Jackson going for scans following Southside's win over Bendigo. Lauren played a tick over 14 minutes tonight and had 7 points. I have touched base with her, and she says she's fine. Just a bit of swelling, but we'll all be looking forward to hearing hopefully positive results from that scan. So Lauren Jackson in the Opals team for Olympic qualifiers next month in Brazil at age 42. Let's rewind to 2004 in Athens, where Lauren and the Opals won a silver medal, and exactly 14 days after that match, Izzy Borlase was born. So at age 19, she's the youngest member of this Opals team. I caught up with her a little time ago to find out how she's feeling on this very special day.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this opportunity.
Sandy told you the news on Sunday. What was the message she delivered?
She just said, I mean, there's obviously some injuries in the group, so there's an opportunity there, and she said she's excited to work with me, so I'm excited to see what happens.
But first of all, tonight there is a task at hand, and it is getting another win for the Adelaide Lightning. How will you go about trying to get the W and beat Sydney?
I think just consistency. I think we've just had so many lapses in our losses, and that just ends up being in really big losses, so yeah, just consistency and no lapses, and just on the defensive end. They've got lots of scorers, so it all comes from the defensive end.
Very special day for you, Izzy. Congratulations, so well deserved, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks to Izzy Borlase, thanks to Megs, and more on that Opal squad at halftime with Laurie Chiswick. And Laurie, they say offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships. That might be a good thing for the Flames, because their offense has been a little spluttering, but their defense has been excellent.
Well, it certainly has, and you said they win championships, but will that be enough, their defense, to propel them into the top 4? Right now, Sydney average 75 points per game against them, which is 3rd, as we can see in the league, only behind Townsville and Melbourne, who are 1 and 2 on the ladder. So, yes, defense does do a good job, and we know Guy Malloy has very specific defensive structures. So I'm sure we will be seeing that on display tonight.
When we're speaking of defenders, Brianna Turner is as good as any in the league. She'll likely get the match-up tonight on Kayla George. That's going to be fascinating to watch.
Well, you'd have to say she is arguably one of the favourites for the Defensive Player of the Year. And if you just look through those stats, rebounds she's leading, blocks she's leading. The one I'm most impressed with is steals as a big girl to get her hands in and be 3rd. And she plays the most minutes, and justifiably so, because while she's not scoring, she changes shots, she rebounds, and she's the one that institutes or gets the running game going for Adelaide. But as you just said, she will be up against Kayla George, will be a big task for her, because the last 2 times these teams met, Kayla scored 15 points, had 15 rebounds in their win, and 18 points and 13 rebounds in their loss. So it'll be a big job for her.
Kayla coming off a 28-point, 10 rebounds game against Perth on the weekend, so her confidence will be high. Speaking with Nat Hirsch, she said, well, they're going to want to slow the game down and we're going to want to speed it up. So from Adelaide's perspective, Laurie, they're going to want to get out into space and run. Sydney quite happy to do the opposite.
Well, they are. They're going to want to start that defensive structure I talked about in defensive transition, slow the ball down, make Adelaide play in the quarter court where they're not quite as comfortable. And it's very important. We talked about Kayla George. She must stay on the court. She can't get into foul trouble.
So it's an important night for the Sydney Flames. Win and they stay in touch with the top 4, but fall to Adelaide again, and they risk dropping off the pace at a critical juncture of the season. It's round 12 action in the Cygnett WNBL at the Quaycentre in Sydney. It's the Flames hosting the Lightning on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Thanks to Ford. Great to have you with us. And we are set to go. Adelaide with the upset just 12 days ago. Sydney now keen to turn the table, keep their finals hopes alive. Wednesday night hoops. And away we go. Willoughby will have first possession for Adelaide. Brazel getting some opportunities to start. Great for her development as a youngster of the future. They go inside to Taylor now, and she comes up with the opening points, Laurie.
Really good pass inside. Nicholson was just a little bit late on the split line help there, and that's something that they'll have to be really careful of.
Tina Richards, such an exciting player. Imagine, great to see her out there. Off to George. Back to Tess. Willoughby with a hand right in her face. Now she's got Turner to deal with. Quick ball inside was intended for Richards. And away comes Borlase.
And we know Adelaide, when they get a good stop on defense, they want to run. They want to run the floor. That's their game.
You saw it there. Quick shot from Turner won't drop. Sydney more than happy to slow things down into a half court. Nice inside ball from Bradley to Madgen.
Great little rush screen by Kayla George. Tess Madgen cut off of that, and a nice find by her teammate.
To Turner. Here's Brianna Turner. Good work from Richards, did just enough. She receives from George. Puts it on the floor, goes herself, can't score. Foul called.
I've been really impressed with Richards this second half of the season. The energy she's bringing to the game, the number of points she's scoring. She's now averaging almost 12 points a game, and you know, she's so explosive, so athletic.
One of the keys for her, she's had such a rotten run. She had a spinal cord injury in October of 20, and then she came back, had a serious hamstring in 22, and then was cut from the WNBA in May of 23. She just needed consistency, continuity, Laurie, game time, just minutes, week after week, to build her confidence. And as you said, she's grown in confidence and production as the season's gone on.
Well, you can see that through when we very first started to see her. And she would have taken a while to learn what Guy Malloy wanted her role within the team. But she's just flourished, and it's really great to see.
Had some Achilles issues and got managed through those as well. Borlase. There's that quick ball movement. Willoughby, bang. Exactly how Nat Hurst wants to see Adelaide play on offense. George. Bounce to Nicholson. Nowhere to go, so she'll finish herself. Lovely work from Loz.
Yeah, she showed a lot of poise out there because Adelaide did a good job of coming across and stopping her. She didn't panic. There we see Turner slipping the screen twice in a row, this time finishing strongly.
So Brianna Turner plays the role of facilitator in the WNBA, more of an option to score here in the WNBL, as Richards does just that.
How comfortable did she look in that little pull-up jump shot?
Both teams finding the bottom of the hoop right now, which will be pleasing their coaches. Two weakest offenses in the league in terms of points per game this season. Brazel. George to Bradley. I would imagine. Here's Richards on the move again. George gets a bit of separation.
It was good ball movement by Sydney, just couldn't quite find the bottom of the rim. Kayla.
Always good defense from Madgen. So she kicks it back out to Willoughby, who wants some movement. She wants someone to come to her. And that someone is Turner. They now try to play the two-man.
Oh, I think Willoughby could have just kept going on her own. She didn't need to try and make that thread the needle past.
Richards, George, good ball movement to get Nicholson open.
And if Nicholson is wide open like that, you're going to give her the ball. You know, high percentage shooter she is from that three-point range.
I get 35% this season, 38 in her career.
Great on-ball defense by Richards, and that's what Sydney need to do. They need to have their rules in place.
Aggressive on offense too, with their ball movement. Imagine Richards with some space. It's short. Trying to go a little too quick there, Willoughby. Just put it out in front. Turnover comes as we head to Megs.
Jace, just elaborating on what you were mentioning about Turner. Last time we saw her in the WNBL in 1920, she was a scoring machine, but that job of hers has changed in the WNBA, and she's getting her shooting mojo back at Adelaide with lots of three-point shots at practice. We might start to see it in this back end of the season for the Lightning.
Yeah, Megs, Nat, her saying she spent most of the season just encouraging her to be a bit more selfish, Laurie. She's so used to, her first instinct is to bring others into the play, but she has good open looks, and Nat just wants her to try and knock them down.
Yeah, she's done some great things offensively and just hasn't been able to finish, and that's a confidence thing, and it's what you're expected to do, and if she's not expected to do that in the WNBA, it'll take a while for her to become used to it again. As we see Kayla George putting up her favorite three-point shot from the top of the key.
Won't go this time. Brazel's stripped again. Great defensive intensity from Sydney in this opening term will be pleasing Guy Malloy. That active hands. Shout out to John Casey, called his 1000th NBL game during the week. One of John's favourite sayings, active hands on defence, Laurie, and Sydney certainly have had active hands in this first term.
And they need to, you know, that's what disruptive defense is about, is making the offense think about what you're doing defensively rather than just being able to go into their own flow and motion. So active hands, active feet, be ready to play.
Paige Bradley, a veteran floor general. Played 5 years in Germany. College basketball in Denver. 29 years of age. A real veteran of this team with a vision and a creativity to bring others into the play.
She had a great game against Perth, 18.6 assists.
Yeah, season high for her. So coming in on great form and confidence. Flames up by 6. Here's Turner to Willoughby, and another turnover comes. Magin holds it up. Now wants to go against Willoughby. Draws a crowd. Well done by Jocelyn, and she strips her of the ball. Just a little bit of uncertainty there with Tess Magin. Willoughby played it well and took advantage. Nicholson just not ready for the pass in the corner, Laurie. She was ready to give it.
Yeah. Not quite on the same page, the two of them.
Lays versus Nicholson, being harassed. Got to get in the front half. She does, just in time. Good pressure from Nicholson on the youngster. Tough finish for Turner, won't go. Away comes Lauren Nicholson. Magin to the corner for Richards. Back to Tess. Will she take on Bourne? She will. Tries to get to position. Good support from Bradley. Saw her teammate was in trouble and came to assist.
Really good off-ball movement by Bradley, and that's what you want. You want to constantly be motion. If you see your defender turn your head, then you want to go for it.
These three won't drop. They'll keep it alive through Mansfield. Bradley for company. A couple of veterans going at it. Pass over the top. Bourne keeps it alive, kicks it. Ball ace, a shot won't drop. Flames by 8 with 4.5 to play in the opening term. Mansfield just finds a way through but can't finish. Easy Bourne comes away for the Lightning. Mansfield tries to force the pass through. Richards prevents that from happening. Bourne, Willoughby looking for some more penetration. Turner from the stripe. Not quite. Just not dropping at the moment for Adelaide.
He's had some nice looks, Turner.
Bradley trying to get past Mansfield. Now, wide open DD Richards. The managed to orchestrate space for their shooters, and they're knocking them down at the moment. Sydney with a great start. You mentioned their offense hasn't quite clicked, but tonight, Laurie, they're in sync.
Well, when Dee Richards started hitting her threes, she's only shot 19 for the whole season. You know you're in good stead with your teammates.
So it's the Flames by 11 early with just under 4 minutes to play in the opening term. We'll take you inside their huddle. Here's Guy Malloy.
Stay committed to your blacks. It's not you when she rolls the score. All right? It's here. Off the two-side corner. You've got to be on that captain spot. All right? We've got to talk. You're doing a great job. In and out, really fast. Just impact the ball. If she goes early, stay on it, try and impact it. And we've just got to rotate across. Hey, I love what we're doing out of 5. Good tempo. Mix it up there with some shape.
Hey, sometimes when you're trying to get me on a block and they're bumping me, just give me a half second so that I can get it, and then you'll probably be open on a pass or a cut because your man's with me, right?
Nothing on Boulaza's right hand. If she's coming down here, I want this girl to sit off the corner and be chest in front of the ball. If she kicks it to the corner, we can close that one out. So one way on the closeout. Don't let her get to her right hand. Okay, here we go.
Meanwhile, in the Adelaide huddle, Megan Huswaite, what was the message from Nat Hurst?
Must find a body was the leading message from Nat Hurst. Brooke Basham into the game for Jocelyn Willoughby. Basham coming off a career-high WNBL performance last round.
Laurie, what do you make of Guy's instructions?
Well, I liked how he talked about, you can see there Kayla popping out. He said, stay committed to that hard show. And if she slips like she did, exactly that. It's up to those back people to rotate, which Emma Clark did beautifully. Set up the break. Oh, just not quite finished. But exactly what Guy talked about, they executed in that defensive phase.
They look on at the moment, Sydney. Adelaide have got to weather the storm, and that'll help. Izzy Bourne fouled as she took it to the rack.
I find a lot of the teams this year, there's a lot more pick and rolling than pick and pop, and slipping the screen earlier, which means you go to set the screen and you don't quite get there and you slip to the basket. And a lot of teams are making those nice little pocket passes into there. So defense has to be a focus on how you defend that.
Free throw stripes caused some problems for Izzy Bourne this season, going at 46%, 19 of 41. Left some points on the table, but what an impressive youngster she is, just 23 years of age. A couple of seasons as a junior at the Caps, and then off to Nebraska, where she had a fantastic college career. She's captain of that team for a couple of seasons. Arnchin sits at 9. Bradley, clever, as always. Such a high basketball IQ, Paige Bradley.
Great decision. Her defense was back, but not quite set.
Paulet kicks it out. Mansfield. Now Bourne open from long range, front iron. And away comes Nicholson. Works on Mansfield. They both hit the deck. Fortunately, both okay. Lauren Mansfield, who...
Sydney have a really good mindset right now with the fact that they're doing the running in the game. They're getting the rebounds and running and pushing and exploiting the defense in the first 8 seconds of the shot clock.
Been really aggressive on offense, haven't they?
Yeah,
And really,
absolutely.
really emphatic with their passes and their ball movement. Really strong. No hesitation at all. Bradley, the inbound, looking for the option. It's Richards. It's been impressive early. 7 points for DD. Leads the game. Here she is again. Back out to George. Bradley. Through Kayla's hands. Richards keeps it alive. 4 seconds. 3. Kayla needs to put up the shot. She does. Good work from Adelaide. Important stop for them as they try to just hang around here. Stabilise the situation. Turn a nice feed through. Beautiful rejection from Emma Clark.
And Adelaide, I think, are one of the best teams at recognizing when the defense is playing a bit too much denial, front foot denial, we say, as we could see Lauren Nicholson, and backdoor cutting and finding each other on that.
Mansfield. Bourlays. Bourne. Mansfield. Deep 3. All glass. They'll keep it alive. Had to put up the shot quickly. Clark, it's knocked away. Nicholson will keep it alive. 2 minutes to play in the first. George doesn't elect to shoot the three. Back to Nicholson. Kayla now takes position. Kicks it out. Clark goes herself off the glass.
That's that great ball movement, crisp passing that you were mentioning, Jason. Really nice teamwork by the Sydney Flames.
Seems to be real clarity of thought at the offensive end for Sydney in this opening term. Bourne, tough shot. Turner, not quite. Sydney have it again. 5 steals in the opening quarter for Sydney. Say good defence leads to good offence, and that's certainly been the case for Sydney in this opening term. They've made the running. They've set the tempo. Nicholson, George keeps it alive. Another opportunity. Rowe from long range. That won't go. Again, George keeps it alive. Bradley inside. Kayla outside. Nicholson. 8 seconds, and they get the 2 they were looking for.
I think every single player on the 5 on the court touched the ball in that play phase. It's fun basketball to watch and would be great to be playing.
Early 3 from Bourne won't go. It's a 15-point margin all of a sudden. Things getting a little out of control here for Adelaide. They need to get their feet underneath them. George. Rowe cuts towards the hoop. Kayla dishes to Nicholson, draws a crowd. Back to George.
So that was just a little miscommunication. Both players went to Nicholson and left Kayla wide open.
We've seen some wide open shooters at the 3-point arc in this opening term, Laurie. Some defensive breakdowns and Sydney making them pay. 3 for 6 from long range in the opening term. Mansfield steps inside for a deep 2 and makes it. Final play of the term. Bradley to the corner. Inside to George. Good hands from Bourne. It'll remain a Sydney ball. 2 seconds to play.
I'll be interested to see what they run on this end line out of bounds play, because it's a 2 seconds. Whilst it's not a close margin right now, it's always good to look at these scenarios and see what you can come up with.
Little pop over the top was for George. It was knocked away by the best blocker in the competition, Bree Turner. Great opening term for the Sydney Flames in a critical game for them. They're a team that averaged 71 points a game. Well, they've piled on 27 in the opening term. It's Sydney 27, Adelaide 11 on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, thanks to Ford.
In the full court, whether it's with a pitch or whether it's with a dribble, we need to try and get in here. If we get ourselves, those step-ups are good for us, but if we get ourselves jammed on the sideline, they're packing in. All right? If we come this way, though, and we throw to Breezy, we've got to see this. They're tagging. We've got to see the skips. I think I heard Breezy say it. All right? If Bradley is guarding Braz, we need to get going to Chin, and the ball has to go into her. When it goes into Bornie, just then, the ball goes to Bornie, we kind of jogged here. Breezy, you go, and we need to get the other guard. We need to be in our long splits. Our other guard has to come over, gives her an option. All right? Keep tagging on the back of stuff. Right now, let's just get into rubs. Let's get into rubs, all right? I want the curl on the first. If we have nothing, they're coming off a down pick. Get to second sides. Hit your screens when they hard hedge. You either slip early or you're hitting the screens, all right? Here we go, guys. Here we go. Here we go.
It's been, 9, 10 years since I've known Guy. we just hit it off right from the get-go. And all the stuff he's doing with the Flames this year is super exciting. We're going to play great brand of basketball. I know Guy so well that, you know, he'll be doing drills at practice, and I can already say the next drill that he's going to do. He definitely does get sick of me, but he really pours into all his players equally. But if you ask another player, they might say that, you know, Kayla or I were his favourite.
They combined for a championship at the Melbourne Boomers in 2021-22, and they're certainly playing an exciting brand of basketball in this opening term. Sydney 27, Adelaide 11 at the opening term as we head down to Meg's courtside.
The Swain train arrived at the Sydney Flames this season, but it's yet to leave the station. Shanice, when can we expect to see you back from that stress fracture?
Looking forward to next week. So next week, Thursday, 25th of Jan, get back in court.
You must be so excited.
Very excited.
Are you a good supporter on the bench, or are you a bit frustrated?
Yeah, good supporter. Yeah.
We'll let you get back to cheer. Can't wait to see you in action next week. WNBA draftee Shanice Swain.
Thanks, Meg. She's had plenty to cheer about so far in this game. Vanessa Panousis into the action. So can Adelaide string together a few good minutes here, Laurie? They've been up and down, inconsistent in games this season. And this has been a problem for them. Sydney's in defensive intensity is leading the points.
Well, they just have to make sure that they, you know, at quarter time, they had 6 turnovers. That makes 7 now. So they need to be stronger with the ball. They need to be more assertive with what they're doing out there. There's a nice rebound by Turner.
It's kept alive. This is Lizzie Tonks to Bourne. Down to 4 seconds. Izzy will go herself. Tough finish. Rolls around. Ends in the hands of Clark. Off to Panousis. Nicholson on the sideline. Adelaide ball. Get a chance to listen to Nat Hurst at quarter time. Laurie, what did you make of Nat's message?
Well, she was just, I think she was talking more about offense, what they needed to do. They needed to shift the defense. When Sydney were tagging them, they needed to have a skip pass there, get it to the open shooters. And I guess just be really assertive in what they're doing.
And ball protection is important for them, as you mentioned as well, with all those turnovers in the opening term. Not helping their cause, already up to 7. Just 3 for Sydney. Marchant sits at 18 points, 8.5 minutes to play in the second term. ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, thanks to Ford. Jason Bennett alongside Laurie Chiswick, Megan Huswaite courtside. George, Panousis, Emma Clark, the sharpshooter. Gets to position, can't finish. Turner spins away with it. Off to Willoughby. Can Jocelyn get going for Adelaide? Lovely. Worked on Nicholson, comes up with 2.
That's the sort of push that Adelaide need. That's their brand of game. Get a rebound, get it out, run, test the defense early.
She's up to 5 points, leads the game for Adelaide. Well, Nicholson and Richards have 7 apiece for Sydney. George to Panousis. Nice step, got herself some space, then pops it over the top to Rowe. Patient from Sydney.
Good court vision by Panousis and good positioning by Kira Rowe. Just to pop herself on that dunker spot. And a nice little pass and finish.
Willoughby again looking to work on Nicholson. You get the sense Jocelyn's wanting to take that one-on-one matchup on herself a little bit more, Laurie, and be a bit more assertive, and maybe she's the go-to player in this second term as Adelaide try to turn the faucet on.
Well, and I agree, somebody needs to sort of take that mentality, but at the same time, you need to play as a team. You need to work to get each other open. You need to shift the defense. You need to keep the ball moving through hands. To just go one-on-one is going to be a hard ask against Sydney.
There's Willoughby again. Covered this time by Clark. Then the switch defense from Richards. Turner with that incredible wingspan just reaches out and plucks it. Gives it to Brazel, who hits the 3.
That's nice. That'll help their confidence. A buzzer beater, 3-point shot.
Richards 7 points. Made the early play for Sydney. This time she turns facilitator. Away comes Willoughby again. Adelaide trying to work their way back in after a slow start. Brazel, Turner, well done. Nicholson read it well. Broke it up. Another turnover. Can they convert it into points? Done it regularly tonight, and they do it again.
That's just such a catch and go. She just literally caught that, pounded it into the ground, used her explosiveness, and had a wide open wide open lane to the rim.
Richards, as you said, just getting better by the week. The 24-year-old, still so young. Originally out of Texas, great college career, was an NCAA champion back in 2019, a Defensive Player of the Year in 2020. Then that horrendous spinal cord injury in October 20. Her career was just really hanging in the balance. She hit the floor, was knocked out for 90 seconds and had temporary paralysis in her lower half. She's worked her way back from that. Having a great season. Willoughby. There's Richards, goes up again.
Great block out by McSpadden on Turner, not giving her a chance at getting a rebound, which we know she is very, very good at.
Nicholson to Bradley, who calls for the screen. Richards obliges, pops it over the top. Well done, Tonks read it. Dee manages to collect. Short. The first sign for Adelaide is them drying up the points for Sydney. Now they've got to start scoring some themselves to eat into this deficit. And that will help.
That'll help, exactly right. A couple of more stops now. In fact, that forces Guy Malloy to call a timeout. He's seen enough.
Lizzie Tonks in the corner, margin back to 14. It's Sydney 33, Adelaide 19.
Basketball early, right? Move off the captain early. If the ball goes to the corner, the take two is rotating down, right? The captain doesn't come in and then close back to the corner. The take two has got it. There's no shot. You understand? Don't just stand and watch them shoot a three. You move on the flight time of the ball. All right, I want energy back into our defense here again. We'll go back into flow. Keep the basketball moving. On the third side, we'll play rub. Play rub. All right, here we go. Come on. Working our D.
Rachel got to sit here, so if she does cut, we're still bumping her. Make sense? We good? All right, here we go.
WNBL Wednesday on ESPN, thanks to Ford. And it is Sydney by 14 points midway through this second term. Jason Bennett, Laurie Chiswick and Megan Huswaite courtside.
Well, the message from Nat Hurst in that timeout was that when the Adelaide players match up on their Sydney opponents and stay in their stuff, they're showing some good signs. They do want to see Turner continue to attack the basket, which has certainly been a theme for us in commentary conversation so far tonight.
We're on the same page, Megs. Here's Richards. Imagine to DD. Bradley, she likes that spot. Not this time. Willoughby scraps for it. Kick ahead pass, solid contact. Imagine keeps her feet, comes up with the ball. Now an opportunity for Sydney. They've got the outnumber. They go quickly. Tess will go herself. Richards there to try and clean it up and earns herself a foul. Laurie, you were listening in to Guy Malloy's timeout. What did he have to say?
Well, he talked again about defense, that they can't just allow, because now I believe Adelaide have shot a couple of threes. You can't just let them shoot it. You've got to, on the flight of the ball, he's talking about get there, at least chase them off the three-point line, force them to put it to the deck. But his final message was more energy back into their defense.
Good contact there between Madgen and Tonks. Both players up and okay. Dee Richards, 71% free throw shooter this season. Another foul called. Bree Turner. So Dee Richards on 9 points. Nicholson's got 6. Nicholson 7, Bradley 6. 5 for Willoughby and Brazel for Adelaide. Paige Bradley, Imagine, McSpadden into the game. Pass went over the top from Imagine, trying to work the two-man.
Before that turnover happened, one of the things Sydney are doing really well right now is all their movement is quick. That they're moving quickly to set a screen. They're moving quickly on their cuts, their passes. So they're playing with a good tempo offensively.
Can Adelaide get something going at the offensive end now? Just find something that works for them. They can go back to the well a few times on. Bola is just somehow carved her way through traffic.
And she just has the ability to do that, you know. And probably why she's in the Opal squad, in that she can find a way to score.
Look away pass from Bradley to Madgen. And Turner pulls it down for Adelaide. So they've got the margin back to 12 points here. Ball lays to Turner. Brazel back over the top to Bree. Will she go against Richards? Hesitated. Short. Even then you could see Bree Turner was thinking about passing it off.
That's right, and I think that goes to what you said, Nat Hurst was talking about, just encouraging her to, her first thought is, when you're inside there, you've got the height, score, look at the basket. Don't second guess yourself.
Well done, Willoughby. Knocks it away from Bradley. Another stop here for Adelaide. Flames with 27 points in the opening term, just 6 so far in the second. Adelaide have scored 10. It's been a good response from them. Can they get rolling at the offensive end? Ball A's not quite. Feels like right now, if they can get some shots to drop, they can get right back in on the scoreboard, because defensively, they've put the brakes on. Madgen, try and loosen the shackles.
Well, she'll be relieved that shot went down, because she's had a few so far tonight and that have just missed. They've been good shots to take, so nice to see that one drop.
Again, Borlase looks to carve through, and again she does.
And Guy Malloy did talk about sitting on her right hand, taking it away, and both drives have been to the right side of the basket.
You'll be frustrated about that. Guarantee that'll get mentioned at halftime. Bradley ran into some traffic, so Madgen to Richards. Rowe, beautifully done, Willoughby. Just stripped it away. They've now got the 2-on-1. She'll go to Turner. Richards will arrive, but Bree will finish.
Great pass just in the air, a little bit above Turner. And she was able to put it up before coming down to the ground. Nice shot.
Argent sits at 11 now with 2.5 to play in the opening half. Bradley and Brazel. Spadden provided a little screen, and that's all Paige Bradley required. A little bit of space, and she finishes. Willoughby can't control this one, but it'll work out okay, because Borlase will have it. Will she take Madgen on? Nowhere to go here. Feeds it back. Well done. Good hands from Kira Rowe, but it will remain an Adelaide ball. And Jocelyn Willoughby, has she been the catalyst in this second term, Laurie? The energy player that Adelaide needed just to get things started?
She is. Absolutely, I think she is. She's pushing the ball. She's running herself. She's, you know, taking the defense on, and I think that's energizing her teammates.
Good work from Madgen. Nat Hurst telling us this week that they have a bunch of introverts really in their team, and they're looking for that energy player to emerge in this group, Laurie. That player who can just provide a little bit of that extroverted energy that the other players can feed off. Pretty young squad for the Adelaide Lightning and Nat Hurst. This timeout brought to you by CTM Sport, your experts in sports travel management. Here's Nat Hurst.
Brazzy. It's on the side? That's okay, that's fine. Brazzy, Bashy, set this. Brazzy, you're here. Only if you can throw it. If not, you're out here. All right? Come off as you would, and then Breezy pinch is in. I want you to come off hard like you were shooting the basketball. Breezy, come get his. You're to the ball. You catch and shoot. You catch and shoot. All right. Hey, on makes, let's get a 12. 12 off on makes. 12 off on makes, back to 5 pinks. All right, here we go.
Right, Brazzy at the front.
Brazzy put Brazzy at the front.
It's a language all its own, Laurie Chiswick.
Well, 12 off the makes and pink on something else.
Could you draw me a diagram by any chance? Nat Hurst saying this week that, interestingly enough, she feels like when they get stops, Laurie, they rocket down the court themselves and they show a lot more offensive intent. When they don't make shots, they don't tend to get back as quickly. She said it's a mental thing. They're trying to challenge themselves to get better at that.
Well, and you can see sometimes younger players, and this is a very young group, when they miss a shot, their first inclination is just to drop their shoulders that little bit, and you just can't afford to do that. You've just got to get back on defense.
Basham to Bourne. Off the rim, inside 2 minutes. 13-point margin. Adelaide looking to rally in this second term. But Sydney's last minute or two have been good. They've stabilised things a little. Sits at 13 right now. Imagine George, Nicholson. Some of their ball movement tonight's been really sharp. Haven't been able to finish. And here's that quick movement. Borlase. Will she take George on? She stops, props, and scores.
Great decision. Borlase, just to know that she's not going to necessarily, Kayla George is probably going to block her if she goes in, so stop and prop.
Bradley from long range, over the head of Turner. That suits Nicholson. Richards, back to Loz.
Look at Sydney's spacing of the floor. They're doing it so well.
George to Nicholson, draws a crowd, kicks it back out. Bradley. Imagine's going to put the shot up. Well done from Adelaide. Great defensive set from them as we head courtside to Megs.
Well, the message from Guy Malloy in the timeout was really aimed at the guards to get back up half court as Adelaide have seized the momentum a bit in this contest on the eve of half time, and the crowd's certainly feeling it too here at the Quaycentre as we head to another timeout.
11 points to Sydney in this term after they scored 27 in the first quarter rather, so things dried up at that end, and conversely Adelaide 16 points compared to their 11 in the opening term, so momentum definitely shifted as we listen in to Guy Malloy.
Now you've got to work. Borlase is there, you're just running back. Go and impact the ball, pick it up. That's a head on a plate. I don't want to see you walking back here with no work rate and she's laying the ball in or shooting that shot. Go right to it and get it. Okay, on the side out of bounds here, is it side or end? Okay, run our 5 pressure release. The inbounder cut really hard. So we'll look at that one on the pressure release and then we'll go back into the regular play. Now, if ball lasers out here and the pick comes and it's so high up, boost it and call the girl underneath. You got it? All right, here we go.
A timeout brought to you by Cygnett, Australia's #1 digital accessories brand. Wonderful supporters of the WNBL. Support those who support the league. Laurie Chiswick, marching back to 11 points.
Well, I was just going to say, Adelaide have done a really good job of not dropping their heads, not letting that quarter-time margin balloon out. It was 16, now back to 11. They've done some really good things defensively, which, as we know, converts to offense.
Nicholson, tough finish from Loz. Not quite. Away comes Borlase. So she's being a lot more assertive on offense as well in the second term. She and Willoughby, it's been noticeable. Turner looking to set a screen. Nicholson fights her way through that. Borlase still going. George comes across at the last moment. It was clever from Kayla. Izzy had to pull out of the shot. She realised it was going to get blocked. Clark sets her feet. Long rebound finds its way to Brazel. Will Mansfield slow things down? 3-second differential between shot and game clock. Will she work it?
I think she should. Yeah, I think she should work for one last shot, for one good shot for Adelaide. 10 seconds now.
2 wily veterans going at it. Bradley against Mansfield. Lauren needs to get to position to get a shot. There it is. Steps up. Pulls the trigger. Won't go. But in the process, kills time to prevent Sydney from getting one last shot away. And at the half, Adelaide working their way back into it. Sydney would still be pleased with their opening half. They've come up with 38 points in the first half. And they lead by 11 in a critical game for them. These two teams met 12 days ago, and it was Adelaide with one of the upsets of the season. Good start tonight from Sydney, led by Dee Richards, and here she is with Megs.
Well, Dee, a great start for Sydney, but Adelaide started to whittle the lead there in the second term. Will a defensive reset be the focus at half-time?
Just rotation, easily defensive rotation. We were doing it in the first quarter, just locking back in and getting back to our identity in the second half.
Can you tell us how you're feeling out there? Form-wise, over the last 5 games, you've averaged 16 points and 6 rebounds, so you're in some good touch.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, be the person that my teammates need. Cut, get offensive boards, finishes, and free throws.
You're doing a great job. We'll let you get in there. We'll see you in the second half.
Thank you so much.
Just a phenomenal story, Dee Richards. It's been wonderful having her in the league this season. She's been great tonight with 9 points. Her team, Sydney, lead it by 11. It's half-time as we head to the halftime show. ESPN's WNBL Wednesday coming up. Our top 5 plays from round 11. this season, Sydney Flames Championship coach Guy Malloy. Kayla George has come across, Tess Madgen as well.
As soon as Guy Malloy got the job at Sydney, it really was a no-brainer. And his attention to detail and the way he really developed his players skill-wise. Whenever I need to continue growing my game, he's always been there for me, whether he's my coach or not. You know, he's always a coach that always gets the best out of me and really challenges me to be, you know, the best leader I can be, the best person.
Madgen will let it fly.
Everything just kind of aligned, and I thought it was a too good opportunity to pass up. I grew up playing with Kayla. We've been playing together since we were 12. You know, we first aligned in WNBL at the Boomers a couple of years ago for that hub season.
George, Madgen, fouled and one.
We talk all the time. We're best friends. She had a fantastic season last year. I have no doubt she'll go far in going back-to-back MVP, but for Kayla, it's always about the team success. So I know, you know, last year we didn't get the job done at Boomers, and she'll be really looking to do that here with Sydney Flames.
Madgen around a pick. Releasing George at the baseline. Looks good out of the hands. Madgen, nice find to George in the reverse.
You know, I still feel like I could get better. I wouldn't keep playing basketball if I didn't think I could keep growing as a player. I've only won one WNBL championship. I don't know how much sacrifice it takes to do that. I think it just makes everything worth it, all the highs and lows that you go through, not only throughout the season, but throughout your career, really worth it. I'd also love to get another one for Guy.
It's been a challenging couple of years for Tess Madgen, the veteran, in her 15th season in the WNBL. She had chronic knee issues, Laurie, just the one game last season at the Boomers, and she's been in and out for Sydney this year. Tonight, her 7th game of the campaign. She has been selected for the Opals in the Olympic qualifiers next month. They'll take on Brazil, Germany and Serbia for a ticket to Paris. Here's a look at the squad who will be heading to Brazil next month to fight for an Olympic spot. Laurie, what do you make of the squad?
Well, it's exciting. Anytime you name a team to play for the green and gold, especially in an important Olympic qualifier like this, we have a real mixture of youth and experience there. We're pretty big when you look at the lineup there, considering I guess Alana Smith and Sarah Blitzovs will play maybe more in the 3 and the 4 because we've got some great quality bigs in there. But regardless, it's going to be a challenge. We're in a tough draw against Brazil, Germany, and Serbia. And so congratulations to all those players, and especially Borlase and Steph Reed, who are making their debut.
3 games in 4 days for this squad. All will be broadcast on ESPN. They'll play Brazil Thursday, February the 8th, Germany on February the 10th, Serbia on February the 11th, as they fight for a ticket to Paris later this year. It'll be exciting. That's coming all your way on ESPN in February. Well, let's have a look at this game now. An important one for the Sydney Flames. They look to stay in touch with the top 4. They jumped out of the blocks, Laurie, 27 points in the opening term to lead by 16 before Adelaide started to stabilise the situation in the second.
Well, they came out and they just looked so focused, Sydney, defensively and offensively. We talked about it during the call, how crisp their ball movement was, how great their spacing was. But to Adelaide's credit, and right there on screen, Willoughby was a real instigator in getting them going and played much better defense in that second quarter and were more assertive offensively. So, you know, 11-point margin for Adelaide, they'd probably be pretty happy with that.
Take a look at the overall numbers. The Flames were shooting the lights out early, had a few misses in the second term, but still going at a decent clip at 44%. Laurie, what would be the message from Guy Malloy at half-time? What's pleased him and what would he need more of in the second half?
Well, I think he'd want, again, back to the defense that they were playing in that first quarter. They were up, they were in, they had active hands. They were really pushing Adelaide out of anything, out of their comfort zone and taking them out of any sort of rhythm. So they need to go back to that. We talked about defense right from the start. And Guy's a defensive coach. He will really emphasize that, I think, at halftime.
Dita Richards set the early tone. She leads the game with 9 points. Impressive. And she just keeps getting better by the week. Such an athlete.
Oh, I loved watching her and you know, we know that she's explosive and can get to the rim. We know that she can pull up. But when she starts shooting threes as well, as we see on screen, you know things are going well for her. But she's been a pleasure to watch this game. And as we've said, has just gotten better and better as the season's gone on.
So Sydney play the bottom 2 teams in these next 3 days. Tonight, they have Adelaide, and then In 2 nights' time, they will play the Canberra Caps. They've got to bank those games, Laurie, because you look at the last 3 games, 2 against the Flyers and 1 against the Fire in Townsville.
Well, and you know, we've talked first of all, they've got to get the wins, and then you start looking at head-to-head, and they don't have the head-to-head against Perth or Melbourne. It's still live against Southside and Townsville, so it becomes even more crucial, those wins, because, you know, a few teams have some injuries right now. There seem to be, with Tess Madgen back on the court, okay. We heard Swain talk at halftime. She might potentially be coming back next week. So, yes, the run home now becomes really important, and those games this weekend and in the future.
Well, the WNBL, as we know, is about more than just wins and losses. And last weekend we saw the Flames raising money for the McGrath Foundation, vital funds there in the Pink Hoops game. Next weekend, the WNBL will raise awareness for Fighting Period Poverty, round 13, to be Fighting Period Poverty round.
Well, I think when you looked at them to begin with, and if you had assumed that Madgen would have played more than 6 games, and Swain, and Kayla's.
I'm off. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Loz. I'm Izzy, and we're here with Leo and Anna with the Ford Aussie Hoops.
Who's your best shooter on the team?
This girl right here. It's probably Loz.
you guys have a favourite spot on the court that you like to shoot from?
Right here.
Right in front.
I like it.
Do you have any tips for shooting?
So make sure your feet are always facing the rim wherever you shoot it from, and then snap that wrist and hold your follow through. Do you want to have a go? Yeah, nice. Nice. Thanks for hanging out today, guys. Good job. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Leo.
Good job.
Good job, Anna.
Now, thanks to Ford Aussie Hoops. Ford, a fantastic supporter of WNBL Wednesdays on ESPN. If you've got youngsters aged 5 to 10, log on and register. They'll have a ball at Ford Aussie Hoops. Speaking of having a ball, Megs is tonight courtside.
I always am, Jace. The message from Nat Hurst at halftime was around Adelaide having a great start to this second half, and that's because they've been outscored in second halves in 12 games this WNBL season, but it's much of the same in the Sydney camp because the Flames are actually the worst performing third quarter team in the league, averaging 15 points, and they've lost the third quarter in 9 of their games this season. But the good news is one of these teams is going to win the third quarter tonight.
That's right. They're the 7th and 8th ranked teams, Meg. So it might be low scoring, Laurie, but we might keep things close. It's an 11-point game as we get set for second half action. Great to have you with us on WNBL Wednesday. Thanks to Ford. This one coming to you from the Quaycentre in Sydney. Critical game for Sydney as they look to keep in touch with the top 4, currently sitting 5th as we close in on the WNBL finals. Flames jumping out of the blocks tonight. 27 points in the opening term for Adelaide. Put the brakes on them to an extent in the second. Willoughby to Bourne to Turner. Lace draws a crowd. It's knocked away. It'll remain a Sydney ball, Adelaide ball rather.
We can see that Emma Clark is starting this half instead of Tess Madgen.
Ball lays the inbound to Turner. Beautiful.
They like that. They like that little alley-oop to Turner.
And it's a single-digit margin for the first time since the opening term. They're back within 9. George to Clark. It's a great pass. The finish wouldn't quite go. Away comes Jocelyn Willoughby, the former Flame. Brazel. Bounce pass from Turner. Was it touched? It was not. It'll be a Sydney ball. Bradley against Brazel. Nice scanning the floor. Finds Nicholson, gets to a spot she likes, doesn't finish, but the tip in from put back from Richards.
That was a good, they needed that steadying basket because the more points that Adelaide score and put scoreboard pressure on Sydney, great drive by Borlase to the basket. There's so much riding on this game for Sydney. So Adelaide can play pretty loose. They're trying to do things for different reasons, but there's a lot of pressure on Sydney. So if Adelaide can inch up that scoreboard pressure, then that, some of those shots that would normally drop for Sydney like they did in the first quarter are looking a little less likely now.
When these two teams played 12 days ago, it was tight through the first 3 quarters. Adelaide just managed to hang around, then broke it open in the final term. They moved the ball from side to side at their pace. They made the extra passes and got rewarded for that aggressive mindset.
I think
it'll be fresh in their mind.
I think Kayla needs to be a little bit more involved. We can see Adelaide throwing on. Oh, that has happened in 3 games in a row by very experienced players. Kayla catches the ball in the front court, and the player that she's passing it to, it jumps over the center line, and it's over and back. Unbelievable that has happened that many times this season to various teams, various people.
Spoken like a veteran coach who's been kept up at night with such matters. 9-point game. Adelaide ball. Borlase hits the floor.
As I was saying before that happened, I'd like Kayla George to get a bit more involved, not just being a facilitator, but scoring herself. Work hard, get some, get a presence inside against Turner.
Just the 5 shots tonight for Kayla. She's 1 for 5 from the field. Richards is wide open there.
She's taking advantage. Every time she's wide open, she's doing the exact right thing with the basketball.
She's in a double figures, the first player in the game to do so. She's up to 11. Willoughby. Margin's 11. Turner versus George. Bree fights her way through. Well done, George. And away comes Kayla. Bradley, Richards, George, beautifully weighted pass.
Oh, that's what we need. That's what Sydney need to get Kayla George more involved.
It's back out to 13. A couple of important baskets for Sydney. Keep Adelaide at bay. Brazel, let's see Turner cutting to the basket. Foul called.
And that's one of those slipping of the screens that we talked about earlier. Brianna Turner does it beautifully, just the timing, but we can see there George just really good positioning.
Nice touch from Kayla. Gives her side a 13-point lead once again. Ball ace. Inbound to Willoughby. Pressure from Clark. Back to Izzy. Bourne sets a screen. Working on Nicholson. Ball ace, tough shot. Well done, Nicholson, great D. And away comes Richards, puts the foot down. Can she catch Turner out of position? She can, draws the foul. Richards just realised she had Bree Turner out of position, took full advantage.
And just that slight little hesitation and then exploded and then was able to get Turner not in a position to be able to block that shot, which we know she's so good at, and draw the foul.
Important response from the Flames. Adelaide trying to rally back. They got within 9. DD with a chance to extend it back out to 15.
And we were commenting at halftime, Jason, how few foul shots had been taken throughout this game. How, you know, it seemed to have gone really quick the first half, and Adelaide still have only gone to the line 4 times. Yeah, it was only taken 4 shots.
Yeah, 8 foul shots in the first half of basketball. Here comes Bree Turner. Willoughby. Good pressure again from Sydney. It was the hallmark of their opening term. Created a series of turnovers. Some defensive intensity, and that's well worked from Bourne.
Really nice work, backing her player down, not panicking, using her body to get that position.
What a prospect she is for Australian basketball, Izzy Bourne. Clark. Bradley to Nicholson. Here's George. Back to Loz. Puts up the 3 and drains it. And just like that, Sydney are well back in control. Margins at 15.
Well, Nicholson averages 16 points a game. She's up to 10 right now, and you know, she needs to keep shooting the basketball. They need her and Richards to be really assertive out there.
Sydney back in control for the first time since the opening term. Richards, nice rejection from Bourne. Willoughby tries to feed it through, and Richards at the other end picks it off. Spoken about DD's defensive ability. Off to Clark. Turner cruises away. She go herself. Well done, George again. Good hands from Kayla. Bradley carves her way through, then pulls back out. George and Turner. Bradley harassed by Turner. Richards, Nicholson. Midway point of the 3rd term on WNBL Wednesday, thanks to Ford. It's a 15-point game right now. Willoughby gets to position, shakes the defender and scores.
She did a great job of getting her feet in the paint. 2-foot stop. Didn't have the shot initially, but stayed poised and then was able to finish.
Bradley. Clark harassed by Willoughby. George, Richards. And away comes Borlays. You know, Izzy will want to carve her way through, but a bit of traffic. Won't stop her. Kicks it out to the corner. Foul called. 13-point margin. ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, thanks to Ford.
On their cross, we match up. Then we're in our rules, right? With Nicholson right now, I want us to go a hedge switch. So we're in orange, and then I want to leave Breezy on the ball. You're rotating off because we're leaving Richards way too exposed at the back. So your help's great. We're just too exposed at the back now. So we're in with Nicholson. Stay with her. We're hedge. Then we're switching. All right, leave Breezy there. You're back on the 4. All right. Then if you come into any screens, if any of our guards, we're just in switches. All right. So scores, we're in 12 off. Back to zone. Other than that, we're in our other rules, except we're hedge. We're leaving Breezy on Nicholson. All right. Hey, catch our breath. Good job. Keep running it. Keep running out of it. All right. Here we go. Hey, that contact with.
In the post, that we agree.
WNBL Wednesday, thanks to Ford, coming to you from the Quaycentre in Sydney. It's the Flames by 13 points with just over 4 minutes to play in the third as we head to Megs.
Tess Madgen back into the game for the Sydney Flames, which is great news for Flames and Opals fans heading into those Opals qualifiers next month. The message from Guy Malloy just now was keep attacking the paint, getting our feet in the paint, and also keep the defensive efforts going. So a lot of keeping.
Thanks, Megs. Bradley for 3.
Well, we saw Adelaide come out in a zone from that timeout, but Sydney had no trouble moving the ball, getting to spots, and finding a wide open look.
Bourne. Basham. Turner. Mansfield. Turner tries to keep it alive. Away comes George. Bradley's done some good things tonight. Marshalled this offense effectively. This time it's George she supplies. Away comes Basham, runs into some traffic. Turner with that wingspan just reaches out, plucks it, and Bourne finishes.
Nice push by Adelaide. Good recognition. They had a man advantage. 2-on-1.
Nicholson in the corner, gets it back to Bradley. There's Loz.
That zone.
Yes, sir. They've made some shots tonight when they've been left open, Laurie.
There's nothing like breaking a zone with 2 3-point makes.
Turner inside. Bourne spins on Rowe. Tough finish for the youngster. And away comes Kira. In fact, it's Madgen now. To Kira Rowe. To Nicholson. Works it nicely back to Rowe. Beautiful ball movement again from Sydney.
When things are clicking for Sydney, they look so good. When they make the extra pass, when their movement off the ball.
Turner drives on George and extracts a foul. So Margin in a real hurry, Laurie's up to 19 points. It's been a good third term from Sydney, much like the opening term. Good defensive intensity, getting themselves extra looks and making the most of it.
Well, the challenge for them now will be to, not only keep this margin, but extend it. To have Adelaide at 37 points, and we did talk about defense and how important it was. Guy Malloy will be really pleased with that. But you can't turn around in the fourth quarter and all of a sudden go, well, we've got this done, and let the foot off the pedal, because you have to get better and better when you're approaching this pointy end of the season.
Rowe to Bradley. Nicholson back to Page. Good work from Nicholson, created some space for Madgen. She's now got an open shooter pass, just a little wide for Rowe. Bradley to George, down to 3. Was Kayla go herself on Turner? She does. And well done, Bourne. Pulls it down. Off to Mansfield. Lovely find inside to Turner. Good ball movement from Adelaide. Haven't had a lot of fast baskets tonight, certainly not as many as they would have liked.
I think that's where Turner's at her best, is when she catches the ball in the air and just finishes.
She's just got incredible reach, doesn't she?
Certainly does.
Great hands. Madgen against Basham. Smart from the veteran. Timeout call. Sydney by 18 points. And Megs, one name that we are looking forward to seeing from an Opals and an Adelaide perspective. Steph Talbot, where is she? When's she back?
Oh, we cannot. Well, she's in Adelaide at the moment. She'll be watching the game of the week on ESPN and was missing from that Opals 12-player team for the Olympic qualifiers that was announced today. But the good news is that Steph Talbot will play her first game of this WNBL season in the next week or two. She's made a recovery from that ACL injury that she sustained just on 12 months ago, but she's feeling great, looking fantastic at practice, and that's going to be fantastic news for the Cygnett WNBL and the Australian Opals in an Olympic year.
Yeah, great news. Thanks, Megs, for the update. Steph Talbot, one of the great people of the WNBL. Hi to Steph, she's watching. Panousis puts up the shot. Well done, Nicholson. Will it be waved away? The refs conferring. Bucket will be waved away for the shot clock violation. Adelaide ball. Here's another look.
Kara Rowe really needed to go up herself. She put her poor Vanessa Panousis really under the pump when she made that last pass.
Final minute of the third. Turner. Mansfield being harassed by Panousis. Bourne from the corner is good.
Wow, she looked nice and relaxed. Leaving her hand looked really good.
Shooting 31% from three-point range this year. That one through the legs of Rowe. So a good minute or so here for Adelaide as they look to rally again late in this term. The Flames have put on 20 points in the third term to Adelaide's 16. 42 seconds to play. Basham. Mansfield. Got Bourne in the corner again. Lauren will go herself, and why not?
They're not going away, Adelaide.
Three-second differential between shot and game clock. Sydney will be happy to take this one deep. Madgett. George cut to the hoop. She's there, baseline. Not quite. Richards keeps it alive. Last shot for the Flames. Madgett puts it on the floor. Foul with 1.2 seconds left in the third term. Coach Keller as Tess goes to the line with 1.2 seconds. It was a good defensive effort from Adelaide, but the bailout foul.
It's 3 fouls on Turner now.
Tess 8 for 9 from the free throw line this season. That one almost bounces through the hoop. And it is three-quarter time. Mansfield wants the foul for being held. The Flames holding steady as Adelaide tried to rally in the third term as we turn for home. It's Sydney 60, Adelaide 46 on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, thanks to Ford. play at the Quaycentre in Sydney on WNBL Wednesday. Thanks to Ford. It's Sydney 60, Adelaide 46. The Lightning looking to fight their way back into this game in the final term. Megs, how are they going to do it?
It'll be through defence, and that was something that pleased Coach Nat Hurst in the third term, but she did say they're going to have to do a hell of a job on the defensive end in this last quarter. But I have noticed an improved calmness within the Adelaide group this season, particularly in second halves. We know they lost 5 games by 9 points or less, including 2 in overtime for a stretch leading into December. They've definitely found their way a bit more when it comes to attacking margins. We'll see what they can do as they aim to come back in this one.
Thanks, Megs. Megan Huswaite courtside as we start the final term in Sydney. Imagine receives from Bradley. She's got George baseline. And Kayla likes it from there. Willoughby to Turner. On the verge of a double-double, Bree Turner. Basham changed her mind a couple of times and almost still dropped. Bradley. Richards to Nicholson. Back to DD. Now to the corner for Madgen. Geez, they've got some open shooters tonight. They've worked the floor and created space for themselves superbly.
And they've had a really good combination of throwing the ball inside. The defense has collapsed. And then, as we saw that last one, hitting Madgen wide open.
As DD Richards hits the floor.
One of the things I've noticed differently defensively for both teams is, and we, you talked about John Casing, active hands, but watch where the Flames' hands are on defense and watch where Adelaide's hands are on defense. Adelaide are often down by their sides and not putting any pressure on them. Even as a passer, they're not sort of up and in and tracing the ball.
Bradley. Doing a good job controlling the offense tonight. George, nice work to Madgen. Sydney getting rolling. Finding some chemistry and some rhythm at the right time of the year, Laurie. They sit 5th. Their destiny is in their own hands, though, because they're going to play some teams that are directly above them. And tonight, on the back of a great win over Perth, they're really starting to build a bit of momentum.
They really are. Just that little 2-man game with Madgen and George, that's so important. Madgen, we know, hasn't played a lot. She's had her injury woes, but so every time she hits the court, she's going to gain more and more confidence, and to have a 2-man game like that is perfect.
Timeout brought to you by Ford Aussie Hoops. Perfect intro to basketball for kids aged 5 to 10. AussieHoops.basketball to register. Let's have a listen.
So I would say Guy Malloy right now is drawing up some plays. He'd be very happy with the defense, but he'd be wanting to continue to work on offensively. What can we do? How can we keep that ball moving? They've been so impressive and really impressive at the start of this quarter.
Margin sits at a comfortable 21. Let's head to Megs.
The Sydney Flames looking for a stop here. Guy Malloy praising Kayla George for that great pass. And well done on the flash in that last play there. But just having a look around the Sydney bench, Emma Clark, Panousis, Paige Bradley, some of these players have really improved as the season's gone on, and Sydney start to roll now.
Definitely coming good at the right end of the year, aren't they, Megs? As Willoughby with a classic finish.
That was pretty good defense by Emma Clark. She had Willoughby in front of her for a good portion of it, but then just that nice little...
Wow.
Yeah, nice little Euro step back to the basket. Really good.
On the left. Nice from Jocelyn Willoughby. Spent last season with the Sydney Flames. College basketball at Virginia. Spent some time in the New York Liberty and the WNBA. Had some injuries to battle with over the journey. She's a talent. Bradley, lovely pass through to George. Back to Paige. Well done, Borlase. Great hands. Knocks it away from Nicholson. Has support. Uses it. Turner. Willoughby, rather. Back to Borlase. Now Turner arrives. She kicks it out as well.
Oh, that deserved a score from somebody on the team.
They come up with nothing in the end. The moment's lost for Adelaide. A couple of golden opportunities there. Bradley being pressed by Willoughby.
See, that's the sort of defense that they need. That's better too.
George wants to get it to Nicholson. Well done, Brazel in the end. It finds its way to Loz. George is going to have to put this one up. Tough finish. Just grazes the nylon. And away comes Izzy Borlase. How's that for some handles? Can she get through and finish? No, she can't, because Clark stuck to it. Willoughby from the corner is good. Well, they're nothing if not interesting, Laurie.
Well, that was some good handles there.
The last couple of offensive sets have been very interesting to watch. George to Nicholson. Margin at 15 with just over 7 to play. Loz to Kayla from that spot again. She's made a career of it.
We talk about Lauren Jackson having muscle memory at certain points in the rim, right under the basket or short corner, and Kayla George is no different.
Yeah, that's Kayla's spot, isn't it? Lays over the top to Bourne. Richards, good pressure as he tosses up the shot. Willoughby cleans up the shot. Bradley and Brazel. George with the screen. Finish doesn't find the bottom of the hoop. Turner, cast in the role of point guard, takes it down the floor, and it'll be an Adelaide ball. She can do a bit of everything, can't she, Bree Turner? That one got away from her. She got the speed wobbles up.
Still they come up with the ball.
Ball lays, inbounds to Bourne, to Turner. Bounces it into Willoughby. Against Clark, draws the extra help. Kicks to the outside and Brazel drains it. Nicely worked from Adelaide. Back to 12. And they are hanging around. Richards, beautiful move, just lost the handle on it, but they'll retain possession.
And I give full credit to Adelaide. You know, Sydney, it's been a real momentum. They've come out, the start of the game, they were unbelievable. Start of the third, they were really good. But Adelaide just haven't hung their heads, and they've kept going. And, you know, 12-point game. As I said, if they put some more scoreboard pressure on Sydney, the nerves could start playing a part.
I said at the start of the night, they're so much better than the 4-8 record suggests. That's beautiful from Nicholson to Richards. And that's why, Laurie, because they just hang around Adelaide. They keep coming at you for 4 quarters. They've had something like, I think, 8 of their losses have been by 9 points or less. Foul there on Willoughby. And that's a good sign for a young team. They've got the capacity to show some resilience.
Well, we talk about Canberra this year and you know, what they've shown too. And, you know, if they can keep their young group together, if Adelaide can keep their young group together, and, you know, along with the experience of bringing in Talbot, you know, that's really good signs for them.
5 of their losses by a combined total of 20 points. That tells a story.
Oh, seriously?
Not sure how. Did a 720. Bree says, come on, cut us some slack. Give us a break.
That did everything but go in.
1 lap.
1 lap.
2 laps.
My goodness.
And out.
Could you imagine if the game was absolutely on the line with that basket?
Never understood the physics of that. How can a ball be in and then suddenly just not in? George. Madgett being worked on there by Lizzie Tonks. Bradley. Back to Nicholson. And draws some contact there on Brazel.
I like how both coaches at this stage of the game, regardless of the scoreline, are up on the sidelines, coaching, talking to their players, just reminding the referees that, you know, that might not have been a foul, might have been one at the other end.
It's been a quick game too, hasn't it? It's been free-flowing. Hasn't been a lot of free throw shot. Hasn't been a lot of timeouts called. This game's rocketed along. join us for our 90-minute postgame. Here's Madgen.
We can really dissect the Opal selection then.
We never run out of things to say. That's one thing you and I will never be accused of. Ball lays. Lovely work, drew a crowd, kicked it out. Can Brazel finish again? Front iron this time, and away comes Richards, who's been really impressive tonight. George, Bradley, Madgen. Nice work on Willoughby. Turner came across.
I love what I'm seeing from Tess Madgen, just her high IQ. You know, we know that she's not particularly quick, but just her ability to find her way and use her smarts. You see how early she gets her eyes up on the target. She's been really good tonight.
Courtside to Megs.
Well, Jace, a lot of players talk about manifestation and visualising their goals, and I've been taking a leaf out of their book tonight. I am on a 9 p.m. flight out of Sydney, so I was putting to the universe that there would be no overtime. So I may hand it over to you for the 90-minute post-game.
You might be able to get the earlier flight the way this game's rocketing along. Ball A's comes up with another 2. Richards just gets away from it, behind Madgen and out. So the margin sits at 14 with just over 4.5 to play.
Well, they've played evenly this last quarter. That was the margin at three-quarter time.
And it was 16 at quarter time, Laurie. So it was that damage in the opening term when Sydney took full toll of those steals and turnovers. Since then, Adelaide have actually won the contest by 2 points.
That's the sort of foul that Kayla George has to cut out of her game, because they, you know, it's okay. This game she's only got 3 fouls, but there's been a number of games where she's fouled out, and she absolutely needs to stay on the court.
No one in foul trouble tonight. 3 the most that any player has. Adelaide ball, much to the chagrin of the Sydney Flames.
Turner's up to 12 rebounds and averaging almost 14. So chances are in the next 4 minutes she'll reach her average, if not go ahead.
Brazel. There is Bree Turner.
Where's that been? You know, attacking.
That's what Nat's been saying. Nicholson. Bree Turner up to 11 points. Willoughby leads the game for Adelaide with 16. 11 for Turner, now 10 for Ball A's as Nicholson's fouled. Drive into the rack. Madgen up to 17 points. Great night for her, as Laurie's mentioned. 16 for Richards, 13 for Nicholson, 11 for Bradley. So they've shared the load around. Kayla George with 9 as well.
And for Madgen, 17 points, and she's only played 18.5 minutes as well. So really good signs for her.
Yeah, it's been a really productive night. We mentioned earlier, it's been a stop-start couple of years for Tess. That arthroscope off the back of the World Cup bronze medal. Only 1 game last year for the Boomers. This is her 7th game tonight. She's been in and out. So
well, and the test will be, will she play now in 2 days' time when they have their next game? She hasn't been able to do that so far, play 2 games on a weekend. And with that Opal squad, when you're playing 3 games in 4 days, you're going to have to be able to come up and to be able to do that.
It's going to be very interesting to see how she backs up against Canberra in a couple of nights' time in another critical must-win game for Sydney. Madgen to Nicholson. They're up by 14 here with 3.5 to play. Richards, George from the other side. They've come up with the points at the right moments tonight, Laurie. It's been impressive from Sydney.
Well, they certainly have. When Adelaide have put in any sort of challenge, which they have numerous times during the game, the Flames have just seemed to be able to answer, showed a lot of poise, and come up with some really timely baskets.
This timeout brought to you by your local Ford dealer, proudly supporting community basketball in Australia. Let's take you inside the Adelaide timeout.
I don't want us to give the handoff, so I want to come down. So Tonksy, you got it. Ken, this is you. Brazzy, Joss, so you've come down. Breezy's in this. I want us to throw here. You're coming off. All right? Then I want you to go hard at Tonksy and turn the corner because they're looking to switch guard to guard. All right, you're just turning. If you can't get it, drag it. Breezy's coming back and getting you. All right, now we're in reds. So Josh, you find the other big. We're reading everything. We're getting after everything. All right, if we score, we're in 12 ons, back to red. So you just match up. If we end up with a guard and a big and they come to a pick and roll, we get after it. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Laurie Nathurst, a young coach, 40 years of age, her second season in the WNBL, and having to build something from scratch. So she's combined 9 and 28 in her 2 seasons so far. I asked her during the week, most importantly, are you enjoying it? And she said, look, I'm absolutely loving it. This group, the wins and losses, we're not seeing them yet, but we're building something for the future. And I love the character of this group. I love the girls, and I love going to work every day.
Oh, well, that's so good to hear, because sometimes, you know, as a young coach too, you can feel the pressure of needing to get wins and put them on the board. And Adelaide had 5 wins last season, so, you know, they're sitting at 4 wins right now. Hopefully they'll get a couple of more and exceed that. But, you know, she's done a great job with them.
So margin at 16, 3 1/4 to play. Bradley pops it over the top to George and back to Bradley. Nicholson just going about her business as always. 15 points tonight for Loz. Can't add to it there, but Bradley comes up with it. Nicholson might get another opportunity. She feeds it inside. Richards. Good defence from Adelaide. And away comes Tonks. Bree Turner, another double-double for her tonight. 11 points, 12 rebounds. Nicholson away again. George gives it off. Extra pass to Madgen. Almost banked it for 3. And Turner might just settle things down here for Adelaide. She does. Back to Tonks. Willoughby to Brazel. Back over the top to Jocelyn. Nice step. Gets to the rack. Can't finish, though, and Richard stuck to the task.
Oh, she did all the hard work there, Jocelyn Willoughby.
Bradley to Nicholson. Richards to George, works off Willoughby, then kicks to the corner. Madgen, Nicholson open. Lovely ball movement from the Flames.
Such great ball movement. Madgen, you know, she's just recently shot a 3. She could have shot it, but saw Nicholson even wider open than she was. Made that extra pass, and Nicholson did not let her down.
Brazel. So look at Brazel and Borlays and Bourne. I think the future's bright for Adelaide. They can keep this core group together as Bradley lays in another 2.
Really good timing of Kayla George, looking like, oh, I might shoot it, I might pass it, and Bradley just continues to fight and goes hard.
He gets an assist there. Well done, Paige Bradley. And I'll call a halt to wipe the floor. Margin blown out to 23 points, which is the biggest margin of the night.
Well, I think Guy Malloy will be happy with their output at both ends of the court. As we said, they average 71 points for, and right now they're on 85, and against they average 75, and they've kept Adelaide to 62 right now. So he'll be happy with this good night in the office.
Guy Malloy and his team stay in the hunt. 8 and 8 coming into tonight. 1 game outside that top 4. So critical. They come up with the points tonight. They play Canberra in a couple of nights' time. Need to win those as well, because then they've got a doubleheader against the Flyers and then Townsville in Townsville to finish. So banking a couple of wins to set themselves up.
Well, they're lucky. Those 2 games against Southside and the game against Canberra are both home games. So 3 out of their next 4 games are at home. And so, you know, that's good. You don't have to travel. You got your fans behind you.
Extra time for practice as well, Laurie, that means.
Exactly,
just a little bit more sort of settled.
And, you know, when they play Southside twice in round 1 in round 13, 1 in round 14, Southside are behind in a couple of games, so they've got some doubles on those weekends too. So, you know, it's still wide open up in the air as to, 1, who's going to make the 4. I think it's down to 5 teams. I think Bendigo are really highly unlikely.
Yeah, that loss today really hurt them.
But then it also becomes down, you want to get into the 4, but where are you going to finish in the 4?
Yep.
Up 1 and 2 get home court advantage.
Yep.
So even that will be something that the teams are striving for.
Bourne to Borlase. Final minute. Basham. Brazel. Plenty of Bs in this team. Basham, Borlase, Badish, Bourne, Brazel. Half the team. Sydney by 23. Final minute. Rowe. Panousis. Clark. Back to Vanessa. Just grazes the front iron. Izzy Borlase on her way to Brazil to represent the Opals in the Olympic qualifier. Excitement for that entire club. And her saying she expected it, she deserves it, but really exciting for the entire group nonetheless. And a great experience for Izzy. Court violation.
Well, Borlase has been kept a little bit more quiet tonight. 10 points. She averages 16, but that 16 points is enough for 5th in the whole competition. So, again, somebody of her age that's able to have that scoring ability, she's done a fantastic job.
Beautiful pass from Borlase, this time to Bourne. She can't finish. Heavy collision under the basket, and Panousis the beneficiary. Final seconds. Vanessa jacks up a 3 and finishes it in style. The Flames get the job done. A critical Wednesday night win for Sydney keeps them squarely in the finals hunt. Next up, they host the Caps on Friday night, while the Lightning will head north to face the league leaders in Townsville this Saturday. Full-time ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, thanks to Ford. Sydney 88, Adelaide 65.
That's now 2 games in a row from the Flames that have really sent a message, if you want. They're playing really well as a team. Defensively, I thought they looked great out there. And offensively, when they were clicking, their passes, their spacing, their movement, their ball and player movement was exceptional.
Real clarity tonight on the offensive end, wasn't there, Laurie? Everyone seemed to have a role clarity. They were very emphatic with their movement, their ball movement.
Well, if you look at the spread of scoring, all starters were in double figures, and that showed that they were sharing the ball offensively. And the other thing that really, to me, was a standout is that turnovers. They had ended up with 12, but at most of the game they were under 10. It was very impressive.
Sydney 23-point winners. Here's their assistant coach, Tiana Mangakahia.
I am with Sydney assistant coach Tiana Mangakahia. That was a fantastic win. What were you pleased with as a coaching staff?
Yeah, that was amazing. I think just the way we played together as a team and moved the ball really well, and I think our chemistry is coming out really well, so it was great.
How have you worked on the chemistry as a team? We know Tess has been in and out with injury, and you've had some new faces, Shanice to come back in. How have you worked on it?
Yeah, I think it's just the culture that we have here at the Flames, just encouraging and sticking together regardless of the obstacles that we face. Obviously, we've faced a lot, but I think just sticking together is the main thing.
And how have you enjoyed your new title? You are an assistant coach with the Flames this year. How have you enjoyed it? What have you enjoyed most?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think just getting to know Guy and Renee, they've been amazing. They helped me so much, and obviously the girls. It's such a great group of girls, and I'm loving it.
Well, you would have been loving it last Sunday. What an amazing spectacle it was just down the road at Kudos Bank Arena. Pink hoops, the doubleheader between the Flames and the Sydney Kings. We turned pink for the McGrath Foundation, and what an amazing day it was. Can you tell us all your feelings and emotions?
Yeah, it was amazing. I'm so blessed to be here with this organisation and everything that they've done for me personally. And the McGrath, partnering with McGrath Foundation is huge. I have my own McGrath breast care nurse, and it's an amazing foundation, and I'm just so grateful for that day. It was so special, and yeah, it turned out awesome.
It was that money all going towards funding 250 further breast care nurses for the McGrath Foundation by 2025. How amazing is the basketball community though, T? You've, through your circumstances, as terrible as they are, you've got to see how amazing people are and our basketball family is.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm just so grateful for all of the support and love that I've received from other players from the other clubs, and just a message, a text, even a phone call. Like, it's just so amazing, the support that we all get around each other, and obviously Hoops Capital has helped me so much, and I'm just really grateful.
And now, assistant coach, we move on to another game. You've got the Caps here on Friday night, and 2-0 weekend would be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we can get that as well, and this week we'll get 3-0 wins, so that would be great.
Great to see you, T. Keep up the amazing work, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Always wonderful to hear from Tiana Mangakar here. And the Flames, 23-point winners. And Laurie, we said at the start of the night, 5 into 4 doesn't go, but the Flames aren't going away anytime soon.
Well, they certainly aren't. They are, putting their hand up to say, we are here, we are vying for that 4th spot or even 3rd, wherever they end up. And it's still, the great thing is for all of those 5 teams, their destiny is in their own hands. They're not to a stage where they have to rely on other teams winning or losing.
Megs is with Adelaide coach Nat Hurst.
Well, Nat, not the result tonight, but gee, you've had some wonderful positive signs this year, and most of their surnames start with B.
Yeah, look, we've got a great young core that we're obviously trying to build around. Yeah, they're going to make some young mistakes, but they also give me a lot of energy as well. So super exciting things that, and hopefully, the future of the Adelaide Lightning.
You've got Nash, your son, Billy, your daughter, and Isabel Borlace, your 19-year-old star. I bet you felt like a proud coach, proud mum with her named to the Opals team today.
Yeah, I think I told her that, when she was first named last season, I felt like a proud mum. But, for her to make that tour, to be named in that squad is, such a huge achievement for her. I know something that she really wanted, and yeah, we're super happy for her.
Now, nearly 12 months ago, you beat Townsville, and it was the last loss they had before going on to win the championship. You head up there now. They do have an injury with Amanda Zoe B, and they're coming off a bit of a flogging too in Melbourne last week, but you'll be going there to try and upset the apple cart.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Obviously, it's tough going to Townsville. It's tough playing Townsville anywhere, but, at home there, have the third, the crowd behind them, that 6th player. So, look, we'll go up, we'll give it a good shake and see what happens.
Good luck, and well done on the season and development, Nat.
Thank you, appreciate you.
Thanks to Nat Hurst. Always a great measure of someone's character when they can speak after their team's had a loss. As we look ahead to round 12, games still to come. The Flames back in action when they host the Caps on Friday night. Then a Saturday night doubleheader. Adelaide head to Townsville to tackle the reigning champs, as Nat mentioned, followed by the Lynx hosting the Spirit. Then Sunday, the Boomers and Southside in the inaugural Pride game at the Boombox. Well, that wraps up ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Thanks to Ford. The Flames picking up another vital win. On behalf of Laurie Chiswick, Megan Huswaite, our entire production team, thanks so much for watching.